Hey everyone, welcome back to Logic Stored. In today's session, we are going to talk about something very important in Snowflake, tables and their types. Let's understand what a table actually is and then explore the different kinds of you will find in Snowflake. In Snowflake, a table is structured object used to store data in rows and columns, just like in any relational database. You can think of it as your main data storage inside Snowflake where all your business data lives. For example, tables like customers, orders, or transactions hold all the details your analytics depends on. But here's the interesting part, even though you create tables using rows and columns, Snowflake stores data internally in a columnar format. That means data is organized column by column, not row by row, which makes queries much faster and more efficient. Let's start with the first one, permanent table. This is the default table type in Snowflake. Data will remain stored until you delete it manually. It also has fail-safe protection, which means if data is deleted by mistake, Snowflake can recover it. You will mostly use permanent tables for your production data. Next, transient table. This one is similar to permanent but doesn't have fail-safe. Once deleted, data cannot be recovered. But the benefit is it comes with lower storage cost, perfect for staging or intermediate data processing. Third, temporary table. This table is session based, which means it exists only as long as your session is active. Once the session ends, both the table and data are automatically dropped. Use this for testing, debugging, or temporary calculations. Fourth, external table. This table points to data that's stored outside Snowflake. For example, in AWS S3, Azure Blob, or Google Cloud Storage. It lets you query data from external storage without actually loading it into Snowflake. Fifth, materialized view. It's technically not a table but works like one. It stores pre-computed query results, which makes analytical queries super fast, commonly used for dashboards, summaries, or reports. And finally, hybrid table. This is a new concept in Snowflake's Unistore feature. It supports both transactional and analytical workloads in a single table. So you can insert, update, and analyze data in real time, all in one place. Hi everyone, today we are going to see a lab about types of tables in Snowflake. First, let's talk about permanent tables. This is the default table type in Snowflake. It comes with time travel and failsafe, which we will explain in detail in separate videos. Now let's create the table. Here I have set the data retention time to 5 days, which means we can recover this data within 5 days if needed. The table is created. So next we will insert some sample data, Toyota, Honda and Ford, and then run a select to view it. After that, we will check the table properties and metadata. Here we can see that it's a permanent table and the retention time is 5 days. So everything is confirmed. Finally, we will drop the table. Even though we dropped it, the data still stays for 5 days because of time travel, and that's it for our permanent table lab. Continuing from our last lab, now we will explore transient tables in Snowflake. A transient table is used for short-term data storage. Unlike permanent tables, it doesn't have fail-safe, but it still supports time travel for a limited period. Let's create the table. Here I have set the data retention time to 1 day, which means we can recover this data only within 1 day if needed. The table is ready. So next we will insert some sample records, Tesla, BMW and Audi, and then run a select to view them. After that, we will check the table properties and metadata. We can see the table type is transient and the retention time is 1 day. So everything is confirmed. Finally, we will drop the table. Even after dropping, data can still be recovered within 1 day retention period, but after that, it's permanently gone. And that's it. Continuing from our previous labs, now we will see a temporary table in Snowflake. A temporary table exists only for the current session. It doesn't have failsafe and time travel is limited. So it's perfect for quick testing or staging data. Let's create the table. Here I have set a data retention time of 1 day, which applies while the session is active. The table is ready. So now we'll insert some sample data. Hyundai Venna, Nissan and Klaus Elders. And then run a select to view the data. Next, we will check the table properties and metadata. We can see the table type is temporary and retention confirm. It's session based. Finally, we will drop the table. Since it's temporary, the table is removed immediately and the data is gone permanently once the session ends. And that's for our temporary table lab. And now you have seen all 3 types of tables in Snowflake: permanent, transient and temporary. Continuing from our previous labs, now we will see an external table in Snowflake. First, we will create a storage integration to connect Snowflake with our AWS S3 bucket. This integration allows Snowflake to securely access S3 without sharing credentials directly. Once the integration is ready, we will create a stage called My S3 stage. A stage is like a pointer to the location in S3 where our files are stored, who can then list and stage to verify that Snowflake can see the files. Now we will define a file format for our CSV files. Here we will specify that it's a CSV file. The delimiter is a comma. We will skip the header now. And fields may optionally be enclosed in double quotes. After that, we can query the files directly from the stage to make sure the data is accessible. We will select the first 5 columns to check the sample data. Now comes the existing part, creating an external table. An external table allows Snowflake to treat files in S3 as a table. Here, we define the columns and map them to the CSV fields. We also specify the location as our stage and assign the file format. Once the external table is created, we can query it just like any normal table in Snowflake. For example, we can run a select star to see all the car sales data. And that's it with storage integration, stage, file format and external table. We can now seamlessly access and analyze S3 data directly from Snowflake. Continuing from our previous lab, now we will see a materialized views in Snowflake. Let's start by creating a base table called take car sales. We will insert some car sales data, brand, model, price, sales and fuel efficiency. Now we will create a materialized view called MV car sales summary. This view calculates the average price, average sales and average mileage for each brand. Unlike normal views, a materialized view actually stores the results. So queries on it are much faster because the data is pre-computed and refreshed automatically. Let's run a select on the view. You can see the summary by brand. For example, Toyota's average price, sales and mileages. Now let's insert a few more records into the base table like Toyota, Honda City, Ford, BMW and Hyundai Verna. Once the data is added, we select from the materialized view again. Snowflake automatically refreshes it in the background. So the summary always reflects the latest data without recalculating everything from scratch. Finally, we will drop the table and materialized view to clean up the lab. And that's it. And just saw how materialized view help boost performance by storing aggregated data efficiently. Thanks for watching today's session. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Logic Store for more Snowflake and data engineering tutorials.